being in my burger shop business was very tiring. I served many customers, including red flannel guys, business women, cowboys, cowgirls, businessmen, punks, clowns, schoolgirls, moms and kids, sports fans, softball players, hippies, surfers, sumo wrestlers, and aliens. And one of the customers came up and insulted me like, "Hey, why aren't you cooking these burgers?" And I told him, "I'm very fast. Don't you see that machine there? The Burgertron 2000? Me and the Burger Bot are kind of helpful." And he said, I still don't give a dang about what you do." And you see, Thomas was insulted like that by a policeman. With this book, Thomas in Trouble. Let's begin. Way back there. There is a line to a quarry at the end of Thomas's branch. It goes for some distance along the road. Thomas is always careful here in case anyone is coming. Peep, 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 he whistled. Then the large people got out of his way, and he puffed slowly along, with his freight cars rumbling behind him. Early one morning, there was no one on the road, but a large policeman was sitting on the grass alone. He was shaking a stone from his foot. Thomas liked policemen. He had been a great friend of the constable who used to live in the village, but he had just retired. Thomas expected that the new constable would be friendly too. Peep, peep, he whistled. Good morning. The policeman jumped and dropped his boot. He scrambled up and hopped on one leg until he was facing Thomas. Thomas was sorry to see that he didn't look friendly at all. He was red in the face and was very cross. The policeman wobbled about, trying to keep his balance. Disgraceful, he spluttered. I didn't sleep a wink last night. It was so quiet. And now, engines suddenly come whistling behind me. My first day in the country, too. He picked up his boot and hopped over to Thomas. I'm sorry, sir, said Thomas. I only said good morning. The policeman grunted, and, leaning against Thomas's buffer, he put his boot on. He drew himself up and pointed to Thomas. Where's your cowcatcher? He asked accusingly. But I don't catch cows, sir. Don't be funny, snapped the policeman. He looked at Thomas's wheels. No side plates either, and he wrote in his notebook. Engines going on public roads must have their wheels covered, and the cowcatcher in front. You haven't, so you are dangerous to the public. Rubbish, said his driver. We have been along here hundreds of times and never had an accident. That makes it worse, the policeman answered. He wrote, regular lawbreaker in this book. Thomas puffed away sadly. Sir Topham Hatt was having breakfast. He was eating toast and marmalade. He had the newspaper open in front of him, and his wife had just given him some more coffee. The butler knocked and came in. Excuse me, sir. You are wanted on the telephone. Bother that telephone, said Sir Topham Hatt. I'm sorry, my dear, he said a few minutes later. Thomas is in trouble with the police, and I must go at once. He gulped down his coffee and hurried from the room. At the junction, Thomas's driver told Sir Topham Hatt what had happened. Dangerous to the public indeed. We'll see about that. And he climbed grimly into Annie the coach. The policeman was on the platform at the other end. Sir Topham Hatt spoke to him at once, and the crowd gathered to listen. Other policemen came to see what was happening, and Sir Topham Hatt argued with them too. But it was no good. "The law's the law," they said, "and we can't change it." Sir Topham Hatt felt exhausted. He mopped his face. "I'm sorry, driver," he said. "It's no use arguing with policemen. You'll have to make those cowcatcher things for Thomas, I suppose." Everyone will laugh at me, sir," said Thomas sadly. "They'll say I look like a tram." Sir Topham Hatt stared, then he laughed. "Well done, Thomas. Why didn't I think of it before? We want a tram engine. When I was on my holiday, I met a nice little engine called Toby. He hasn't enough work to do and needs a change. I'll write to his controller at once." A few days later, Toby arrived. "That's a good engine," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I see you've brought Henrietta." "You don't mind, do you, sir?" said Toby anxiously. "The station master wanted to use her as a hen house, and that would never do." "No, indeed," said Sir Topham Hatt gravely. "We couldn't allow that. Toby made the freight cars behave better than Thomas did. At first Thomas was jealous, but he was so pleased when Toby rang his bell and made the policeman jump that they have been firm friends ever since." Whew! That was an interesting story, don't you think? Like the video, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.